Hey everyone, thanks for stopping by to check out another one of my YouTube tutorials. Today I'm going to be printing with plexiglass, much like printing on a jelly plate. So let's get started. Alright, here we go. I'm unwrapping the plexiglass. This is an 8 by 10 piece of plexiglass I got from Lowe's. They come in all different sizes. I'm cutting out my photo for inspiration, beautiful Charday, who I named my daughter after. I'm just taping it down here on some freezer paper. I just chose freezer paper because it was handy. I'm going to place my plexiglass over top of the photo and taping down my plexiglass just so it doesn't move while I'm painting. Here I'm spreading out some dishwashing liquid. The dishwashing liquid is used to really hold the watercolor paint on the plexiglass so it doesn't bead up. And this is watercolor paint from a tube because of the thick consistency. So I'm just working from light to dark. I've never tried this technique before, so I'm just really guessing at it and just trying to get the general shape of the photo behind the plate. If I was to do this again, well, when I do this again, I'll definitely have to make some decisions on a photo that I use to have these shapes maybe make sense. Clearly, that is the outline of her shoulder, but much of her neck is in shadow, and then you have that lighter part of her neck down at the bottom. The actual print, when you look at it, it just looks a little weird, so maybe I would maybe not make the neck so much in shadow just so that so it's more defined. Also, I'm noticing as I'm painting black on top of this black that it's hard to see exactly where your strokes are because it's all dark. So you have to keep looking at different angles to make sure that you're covering the plate pretty well. At this point, I don't know how the brush strokes are going to show up when I print it, or um, how much paint. Actually, I don't know whether the paint's going to transfer or not. I've never tried it before. As you can see, I scratched out a negative space there where the earring is on the left. And I would recommend any highlights that you want to do, you just scratch that out, or scratch out highlights, or either just don't paint that area. Just adding some wisp of hair. Just trying to add in all of the dark areas that I see. I eventually end up getting rid of the dark line on this right side of the nose. That just looks strange. You could just freehand paint this picture. You could use other photos for inspiration. I think this is a really cool technique so far. Again, at this point, I don't know exactly how this picture is going to come out. It looks like I'm doing a really good job. It looks like a beautiful painting, doesn't it? Just scratching out highlights. Now here I'm taking away some of that black paint, and I'm using a wooden embossing stick, and I chose that because I didn't want to scratch the actual plexiglass. So I'm just scratching out some highlights with this stick. I think if I was to use a sharp tool like a pen, like a straight pen, it might damage the plexiglass, and the next time I do a print, that print will have those scratch marks on it. doing a little shading. Now I have just splashed paint, and I'm desperately trying to, I'm not paint, water. I'm desperately trying to dry it up. I'm so mad at myself right here. Um, I'm just going to go ahead and paint on, so I think, but now it's bothering me. So I'm going to try to control the damage and mop up this water. I thought I'd let it air dry, but I just can't. I'm so upset. Everything was going well. I'm really cussing up a storm off camera. So I'm going to clean up the edges, and now I've decided I'm going to go ahead and print. I'm using this printing paper by SPEEDBALL. It's for block printing. It's very fibrous and absorbent, and I'm just going to soak the water. I noticed while I'm soaking it, the fibers were starting to come off, so I guess that was enough water on that paper. I'm blotting it dry here. Well, not dry, just soaking up just slightly a little bit of the water. I still want it really, really wet. So here goes nothing. I decided not to use this spoon because I didn't know if the paint was going to smear, and this flat tile didn't really do the trick either. So I decided to use my fingers to press down. I was going to use a sponge, but I didn't want the sponge to suck up the water. So so far, using my finger pressing it against the plate is doing pretty good. There's probably something else I could do. I thought of a brayer, but again, I didn't know if it would move the paint or not. And the painting was completely dry, by the way, before I put this paper down. Look at that. That is a beautiful print. Now I want to see if there's any paint left on the plexiglass. Try to get a second print out of it. And it's a ghost of an image, so I think I'm going to try it again. I'm going to sop up the paper really wetter than the other print, just because there wasn't enough pigment left. And I'm using the spoon, and I'm deciding this is not the tool to use because the paint actually is moving underneath this paper. But it's kind of a cool ghost of an image anyway. And here we are side by side. And now this is the dry product. The painting actually looks like it's in between the fibers. It's really cool in person if you could see it. And where I had to go over the picture, where I made my mistake, it's really dark right there in the hairline there. And that's the ghost of an image. That's pretty cool. I'll use it for something. But this, I just can't get enough of looking at this. It really came out great. Got an idea here. Look, it could be a sun catcher. If you were to do some nice designs, it could be kind of like a stained glass effect against the window. Don't mind my dirty window, but the light coming through, that looks pretty cool. I'm really pleased with it. Final outcome. Thanks for stopping by. Hope to see you again.